What's up, guys? Today we're back for another episode of Brown Lifestyle. We hope you guys had a good holiday break, and we hope you guys enjoyed. But today we're back. We had to go. We had to not record because of the holidays and everything. But we're back now, and we're ready to give you guys some amazing content. The partition episode is coming. We're working on that one. The one with us together is coming. I hope you guys watch the other ones, and I hope you share them with everybody else. But let's get started with today. So the topic we have today is schooling and schooling in the brown community and everything. And so for our first topic, it's about it's about not wanting to go to college or your future career plans and stuff. So what about your parents? What would your parents do if you said you didn't want to go to college?
Well, for me, I kind of had this talk with my parents
Yeah.
before. It was like, if you want to go, that's great. If you don't want to go, you have to have a plan and a reason why you don't want to go.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Is that similar to you?
Yeah, I mean, not exactly. I think my parents want me to go to college, and
Hmm.
I'm not, and I want to go to college. But if I didn't want to, I don't think they'd be disappointed. I don't think they'd say anything as long as I wasn't just being a bum and just sitting at home or anything.
Well,
I
that's
don't think
kind
they'd
of
be
like
upset.
having a plan, right?
Yeah, but I think for the most part, they do want me to go to college, and they'd be disappointed if I didn't. But they wouldn't disown me or anything.
That
They'd
makes
still be
sense.
proud of me as long as I became successful in the future. That's what matters.
That's pretty
But
much what my parents say. Like
yeah,
my mom, she wants us to go to college, but like I said, if we don't, we have to have a good plan. That's not not a fluke. Something you are
yeah,
actually able to do. And if it's something outrageous, like being an F1 driver or like an actor or like an esports player, something like that, you
yeah,
have to have a drive.
yeah. You have to have a solid plan, I guess.
Yeah.
You can't. It can't be too risky or whatever.
Right.
That makes sense. I feel like for the most part, if you have dreams like that, you could end up and go chase them because the thing about college is that you can come back and go to college when you're 30 too.
That's true.
Like if you get good grades in high school and you go to college, and let's say you're like, oh, I don't want to go to college, I want to go start a business, and let's say the business just doesn't work,
Yeah.
you can always just come back and become you can just go to college and then you can get a job. Obviously, it'll be a little old, but that's just the consequence of your actions.
Yeah.
So, what about other? What about your parents? What about convincing them to pursue other things, like you were talking about F1 driver, actor,
Yeah.
something
I
like
feel
that.
like I feel like especially in the brown community, that's really
Athlete's a big thing.
yeah, that's like hard to do because it's not necessarily their fault.
Yeah,
It's more of just the generation they were born in, right? Because their generation, it's like you're an engineer, you're a
engineer,
doctor,
doctor, lawyer. Yeah, I know
yeah,
what you
something
mean.
like that. But if your kid genuinely has like a talent for, let's say, football, soccer,
Yeah.
basketball, baseball,
Then there's no baseball. Ugh.
yeah,
Anyways, there's either way though. I feel like if you can do it, then there's no reason for you not to be. I know a bunch of kids that don't play football because their parents won't let them.
yeah,
These guys will be huge. I know my some of my some of my friends, they're huge,
right,
and they could be really really good football players, but their parents won't let them. And I feel like that at that point is limiting your kid. Like my parents obviously never did that. Like they let me play football because they knew I was big. My dad actually, when I came to the U.S.,
hmm,
I was 4, but he suggested, he was like, you need to start playing football because he wanted me to play football since then. But I feel like if you have the talent to do something, if you think you really can, then there's no reason for reason to not be able to. Like the F1 driver thing, I want to be an F1 driver. I still would if I had the
yeah,
chance to, but I don't live in Europe. So, like I said, when I was a kid, I really did want to be an F1 driver.
right.
Well, I went through a couple things when I was a kid. I was the first thing I said I wanted to be like Batman because that's I
Well,
used to
yeah,
watch the shows and everything.
uh huh,
After that, I wanted to be a spy for a while because it seemed really cool at the time.
hmm,
But I want to be in the CIA. But the CIA now, kind of
yeah. I feel
kind
like
of scary.
those government jobs, they're like
They don't
glorified
pay
in
well
movies, though.
either. It's
Really?
just too much risk. Yeah, you're not allowed to do anything with those jobs, and they don't pay at all practically.
Yeah.
And you never know. You'll end up having to kill an innocent person and go to jail
Hmm.
if you don't do it or whatever. But yeah, I feel like those jobs are kind of weird. But in
Yeah.
terms of F1, being an F1 driver, I wanted to be one since I was 5. It's just you gotta think about it, the community I'm living in right now. Like Howard County, Maryland. How many F1 drivers you know that are from Howard County, Maryland?
That's true.
They're
But
none.
it's like you could be the first. You know what I mean?
But like most of the F1 drivers I know, the majority of them actually, they're all from Europe.
That's true. But and I also heard because I was reading about it because that's like one of those dream jobs you just look up. But it's you have to start at a young age. Like some of
Yeah.
them started at like 5, 8, or even 4,
Yeah, they've
something
been
like
like
that.
driving that little cart since they were kids.
Yeah, but I feel like in this day, it's a little bit easier to do stuff like that. I mean, not saying
Yeah,
it's
because we got like steering wheels like
yeah,
y'all have and stuff.
because I also was looking up that you can do. I was telling you about this earlier. iRacing. It's a game. It's a reoccurring subscription though, but it's similar to F1 racing, just esports. I mean, I know you guys may know, but F1 does have its own video game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically like that, but just not F1 racing. It's the same style, just not with a brand name. But you can make a lot of money, and then just like the Gran Turismo movie, you can maybe get
Maybe.
lucky and go pro like real
I think
life.
it was based off a true story, so that means
Yeah,
it probably happened at some point.
I've seen people on TikTok that it's happened to as well. Not F1, but like
Yeah.
other
I mean,
racing things.
once you get into like a racing category,
Yeah,
you
you
can really
can.
go anywhere. Like I'm pretty sure, you know, like GT3 drivers, like the movie, the racing that
Hmm.
it was based off of. Yeah, it's called like GT3 racing or something like that. I don't
I think
remember the
I think I
exact
know
name,
what you're talking about.
but that's what they call it. That's why they call it Gran Turismo, and that's why it's like the Porsche GT3 RS. It's called the GT3 because it was made for like those type of races.
So like I've seen on TikTok that like it's that M4 GT3.
Yeah, that's made for those type of races,
Okay,
like
yeah,
the Le
that's what I
Mans
thought.
Cup and like all that stuff. That's what it's made for.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like if I had the opportunity to do it, I would definitely do it. But
Me too.
you gotta like be realistic. In this area, like the area we live in and everything, there's not really an opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
And it's not like any specific person's fault. It's not like our parents' fault that they didn't give us the opportunity. Like it's just like the area we live in. Because I guarantee you can't name like a single race car driver that came out of Howard County
Or Maryland.
or Maryland. Yeah, Maryland in general. I think most like even NASCAR drivers they come from like Texas or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so at the end of the day, it's really just like a generational thing.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier.
You
It's
can also look at my screen to like
yeah. I was gonna do that, but
yeah.
so we talked about this in the very first episode, like a little bit though, but we'll touch on it a little bit again. I know we've kind of been saying that in some episodes, but that's okay. Um, but again, like trade schools, the more I think about it, and the more I'm growing up, like just the past couple months, I've realized that
You
it
make a lot of money.
well, that's true. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, you make a lot of money, but it's a lot of really hard work. Not hard work as in
That's like the blue collar jobs.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's more physical work.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
feel like
yeah,
it's like a good idea if you don't care about your body, you know?
yeah,
Like if you're only cared about you I just want to make money. I don't care about anything else. You'll be working like 80-hour weeks and you'll have like multiple like injuries to your body and everything. But you will be making like $250,000 a year. So
but I just don't know if it's worth it.
I don't think it's worth it. But I feel like obviously like it's a good backup plan, but it's not a good like
Yeah,
main plan if that makes sense. But that's not like hating on anybody that goes to a trade.
no,
Obviously,
no, yeah,
everybody
yeah.
has like um, everybody has their own interests. Like I've seen like I don't know if you see like on reels on Instagram reels. There's this one guy. His name's like Hub's Life or something like that, and he works like a normal 9 to 5, like
Hmm.
completely normal. He goes to work. He works in insurance. He makes money too. He has like a nice house, a nice dog, and like, a nice like relationship and everything. He makes money, but he just like it's like a normal job, right? And
Yeah.
everybody's always hating on him because he has a 9 to 5.
Oh, does he just make? He just makes those like get ready with me videos, and he doesn't say anything.
Yeah,
Is that what you're talking about?
yeah,
Because I think I know what you're talking about. People say like this is so sad.
yeah. So it's like, oh, this is so sad. He's wasting his life doing this stuff. Like it's
Yeah, I've seen that. I thought those videos were like super satisfying because
yeah,
he was getting
it's
ready and
nice. And I
everything.
mean, like if you maybe some people just don't have the ambitions to make like do all of that. Some people don't want to.
But it's not like because I've seen him react to those things. He says he's not unhappy, right?
Yeah,
So he got the job he not maybe not wanted, but he got the job he got, and he's not upset about it, and he's still moving on with his life.
yeah. Like I mean, my me personally, I'm into cars and like
Yeah,
expensive stuff. So obviously, I can't like like doing something like that wouldn't make me happy. But maybe he's not into all that expensive stuff. Maybe he like
Yeah.
values other stuff more, and maybe that job's like enough for him. I feel like hating on people for that is kind of a stupid idea.
Yeah, because everybody else at the end of the day, it's their life, right?
Yeah,
So why
it's
should it
like
affect you?
you can't do anything about it. You can't influence other people, so you might as well like just leave them alone.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what about like if your parents like obviously we've looked about trade school and all these like imaginary careers. That's just what we're gonna call them
Yeah.
for now. But what about if you wanted to like not go to college and just start your own business?
Well, that kind of ties into the first thing we were talking about, where my mom says you have to have a plan, and if you don't have a plan, then it's you should just probably go to college, because my mom tells me all these successful people who do like bad in school.
Yeah.
Like, let's just say I don't know if this is true, but let's just say Bill Gates wasn't the best student, right?
You know Bill Gates went to Harvard and he dropped out of Harvard.
Yeah, yeah. So just
Yeah.
okay, but he wasn't an idiot,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah, I know what you mean.
so he just didn't really want to go to school, right?
Yeah. Some people just
So
don't like school. Like it's
yeah.
not a big deal.
So but in this case, let's just say they weren't good in high school, right?
Yeah.
So but they had a drive. So his drive was computers, coding,
Yeah.
software and stuff like that. So my mom says if you have a drive like that where you have a good idea and you can start a business, then it's okay for you to not go to college. But it's like you really have to have that dedication.
Yeah, and you really need to have like a good plan too. Like
Yeah.
you can't like let's say you do go to college, right? And you get a good job and you're making like a solid amount of money, but like let's say I say, "Oh, I want more money."
Hmm.
And you start making like a side hustle. And let's say you make like a couple $1,000s from the side hustle, you're like, "You know what? I'm going to quit my main job. I'm going to go into side hustle." As soon as you go in, you're probably going to go bankrupt because you're not like you need to get to a point. What I personally think is like let's say you're going to start a side hustle, you need to be making more than your main hustle. I feel like
For
that's
it to
like
overtake.
for it to overtake. Yeah. Like
Oh,
let's say
yeah,
if you're
that
a
makes
software
sense.
engineer making $100,000 and your side hustle makes like 50, that's a horrible idea, right?
Well, yeah, because that's a huge shift in your
Even
lifestyle.
yeah, even then, like let's say it makes like a 80, that's not even that big of a difference.
Yeah.
Like, and it's made 80 so far. You don't know how much it's gonna make in the future. So like, until you're 100% sure that this is not going down anytime soon, like it's a stable business or whatever, then until then, I personally believe that you shouldn't like drop out of your main job or whatever.
But I think it is good to have side hustles actually. Like even if you do have a main
I
job,
think having multiple side hustles is a good thing because like
yeah.
you know, especially like since we both want to go into like the coding and IT field,
Yeah.
people get laid off a lot. Like I was reading a couple stories. I have some cousins that are software engineers. They're telling me about people that are getting laid off, and it's like the market and how apparently the market's really bad and everything.
Probably because all the kids just like cheated their way through.
Yeah, it's definitely because of that. But like it's just at the end of the day, it's like they're gonna say. At the end of the day, those people, it's not like a stable job. If that makes sense, it's not always a stable job. So having side hustles, so like let's say you're making $100,000 from your main job, which is being a software engineer, and you have like four side hustles making 25K each. The if you let's say you get laid off for your main job, you're still
Hmm.
making the same amount of money as you were before. As you were like, well, before you went go from making $200,000 to like $100,000.
Yeah.
That's like not a big difference. You could still live. You can still like function properly.
But
So I
that's
feel like having side hustles is a good thing. Like real estate, car flipping. I've heard about
yeah.
people doing car flipping and like other stuff like that. It's a good thing.
But that's interesting actually to me, like about how they're getting laid off. Because I heard, well, maybe it's just the specific field. Because you know how
Yeah,
computer science is like really big.
it's huge.
Yeah, so I heard that a lot of jobs were opening up and how it's high value.
They're opening up because like
Oh, well, yeah,
other
that
people are
makes
getting
sense.
laid off.
Yeah.
I think um I know Amazon laid off a lot of people a couple years ago.
Oh,
Google
yeah.
laid off some people,
Yeah, I think I heard about that.
but it's just I think half of it was because of COVID.
Right.
Half of it like they're like obviously there are reasons that like the company knows about that we don't know about. But like who are we to judge that they're laying off people? It's like
Yeah.
up to them. So the next topic we have is about like the importance of education and going to high school and like doing well
Right.
in high school. Obviously everybody goes to high school. Even in our county,
Hmm.
you need a D in like every single class to pass. So and the D's like you have to, in my opinion, in my like experience, you have to try to get lower than a C. Like it's really not that hard to pass. So, but it's more important about doing like as best as you can in school. So, do you think it's important to do good in high school?
Yeah, but it kind of sucks because I feel like for kids who do struggle, not that because once you struggle in something,
Yeah.
you're kind of labeled as like teachers may label you
Yeah, I know what you
as
mean.
like you're not very good. Oh,
Like
this guy's kind of low. So
my
like,
freshman year, my GPA was like really low,
yeah.
and after that, like I still haven't beat the allegation. Like every single year, the teachers like I did really good in my algebra class last year.
Hmm.
I got an A, I'm pretty sure, like overall, and my teacher recommended me for math analysis instead of pre-calc, and I asked him why. It was like, "Oh yeah, I heard you weren't as good of a student." Like that shouldn't even mean anything.
Yeah, it's like a label that unfortunately a lot of teachers just abide by.
Yeah, it's really important to get a good start to get like a good education. Don't mess up like me.
That can kind of discourage kids as well. So,
Yeah, and like if you get bad grades your freshman year or whatever, like all I know is that one bad year, if you get one bad year, that messes up your GPA overall. Like I had like a 3.7 last year, and I had like a 4.0 at the first quarter or whatever. But my freshman year GPA was so low that I it's not changing. Like it's
yeah.
still stuck. But yeah, do make sure you guys gotta make sure you study because like you might not think, oh, one bad grade isn't that bad or one failed test isn't that bad. At the end, they can get really bad. Like they can really affect you,
Yeah.
and that messes up your chances of going to college too. Like I know you can say, oh, I'll just transfer, I'll just go to community college or whatever. Transferring is also hard. You need to get like straight A's for like multiple semesters to transfer out into a nice college.
Yeah.
But yeah, thoughts? You didn't really speak much.
No, I did.
I feel like you should speak because I feel like I talked too
Okay, so I'll just okay. Uh, y- wait, is it? Are this is gonna be the last one or no?
much. And we got one more after
Okay,
this.
so I'll just talk about that one then.
Okay, so go ahead.
Wait, what? Which one is it?
Like the parents funding everything and the sacrifice they made for you.
Oh yeah. So when it comes to school, like let's say you're an athlete or you're getting tutoring or you play an instrument, you're learning a language, something like that. That all will help you for college, right?
Yeah,
So your parents are funding all of this for you so you can have a better life for yourself.
yeah.
So I feel like when kids don't do as well as they should be doing, it's kind of letting their parent down in a way.
That's what I'm more scared of. Like, honestly, everybody in the brown communities are always like labeling their parents as like toxic. Oh, my parents are all, like so bad.
Right.
Like, let's be real. They're just trying to like make sure you're successful. Cause I mean, maybe most majority of the time, maybe yeah, there are exceptions. Some people are like not meant to be parents. There are exceptions, but for the most part, your parents are just trying to help. Like even with my dad, like I think in the first episode, I was talking about how he yells at me and everything. He never yells at me for like no reason. He always yells at me because he's trying to help me get through like a mistake, or he's trying to help me make sure I don't make that mistake again. I feel like a lot of kids just think that their parents are just talking BS. You know?
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, but it's I think I think it has to do with just the parent cuz if you think about it, your parents are still learning like how to parent on the
Yeah,
way.
they're growing up just like you.
Yeah, so they may get mad at you for stuff, but at the end of the day, it's your mom or dad or it's both of
Yeah,
your parents. Like you can't really, you shouldn't get mad at them,
yeah,
especially when they're, because sometimes, like you said, it's like your dad isn't yelling at you for no reason.
yeah.
So, but I know some parents do that.
Like
But
obviously there are exceptions. There are exceptions in like every single thing here.
yeah,
Nothing's ever perfect. Obviously, there's some parents. Some parents might be like abusive or whatever, but you should still try to be like as helpful and as respectful as you can. And like your parents are only doing this for the most part. Your parents could care less if like you grow up and you give them money or whatever. They
right.
more focus on like taking care of you and making sure you're successful and you're happy. They don't really care about themselves because I mean they've lived their whole lives. They're majority of the time they're already like content with how they're living and everything. They're only doing it so that you can grow up and you can do what you want to do.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So that's going to be pretty much it for the podcast. We hope you guys like this episode. And also, don't forget to share. So, as you guys know, and if you guys are new, we have a YouTube, we have a TikTok, we have obviously Spotify, and we have an Instagram. Um, So we also have a poll in our Instagram that, if you guys want to leave suggestions or just talk to us about anything, you can put it there and maybe it'll be featured in our episode. And also, if you guys do watch it on Spotify, there is a poll in the Spotify description of this video. So, yeah, make sure to share, like I just said, and
Make sure to let us know how we're doing. Let us know if
yes,
there are any topics you want to talk about. And yeah,
3
Brown
Lifestyle
Lifestyle out.
out. Okay.
That's good.